Hello and a warm welcome to TBC News. Our top stories. EU disburses 179.35 million euros for development projects.
Tanzania has received about 2.3 billion.
Government commits to renewable energy transition. Good evening, I am Faida Ngaga. You can also follow us live via our YouTube channel, TBC Online. Also, get all the latest news through our Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter pages at TBC Online. President Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan says 455.09 billion grants by the European Union will boost development projects in the country, including policy reforms, improve the sectors like the blue economy, finance, gender, and digitization. President Dr. Samia made the remarks in Dodoma immediately after witnessing the signing ceremony of 3 agreements, including the government budget support amounting to 46.11 million euros, equal to 117.036 billion for the fiscal year 2023-2024. Here are more details.
The European Union grants intend to support the Tanzanian national budget and the projects so that they can be implemented effectively. President Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan says the 3 agreements are crucial to support various sectors and also will be directed to policy reforms.
So far, Tanzania has received about 2.3 billion or million euros, which is equivalent to 5.9 trillion shillings as grants, and a huge amount of money on loans, but concession loans, not commercial loans.
The head of state adds that the European Union countries have been key to the Tanzanian tourism sector, which has experienced an increase of late.
It is also worth mentioning that the improved cooperation has witnessed an increase in number of tourists from the European Union from 362,393 in 2019 to 449,200 in 2022. And this accounts about 31% of the total visitors in 2022. We also note with appreciation that the organized Tanzania-EU political dialogue and Tanzania-EU Business Forum of February 2023 have paved the way for Tanzania's business community to the global economy.
On the other hand, the head of the European Union delegation to Tanzania and to the East African community, Ambassador Manfredo Fanti, says the European Union will continue to cooperate with Tanzania in improving all sectors.
There are different ways of contributing to the sustainable development of Tanzania. Some of them are very visible. If you directly finance a school or a hospital, there is a tangible infrastructure, and the proof of your contribution is really brick and mortar. But today, we are here about a different modality that we have agreed with the Tanzanian government. And as you said, this is the preferred modality by the Tanzanian government. And this is something that we have been working on together for years, and by contributing to the national budget and by aligning ourselves to the policies of the country, looking at its medium-term reforms.
The Minister of Finance and Planning, Dr. Mwigulu Nchemba, and the Minister of Finance of Zanzibar, Ali Suleiman Amir, are also attending the meeting. The implementation of the projects will be done in 2 phases, where the first phase has been allocated an amount of 1.09 trillion, equivalent to 60.60% of all funds, and will be implemented for 4 years. The second area is a project to improve the IT sector in the government with a value of 88.62 billion shillings, and this project will be implemented by the Ministry of Information, Communication and Information Technology.
Prime Minister Kassim Majaliwa directs district administrative secretaries of all districts in Tanzania mainland to execute duties based on good governance and values of public leaders. He was officiating the orientation seminar for district administrative secretaries in Dodoma. Tedim Paranyanga has more.
The Prime Minister says he wants to see every district administrative secretary ensure that there are no loopholes that allow the misuse of public funds in their areas, demanding them to take immediate action and when they discover any such misuse.
Kila mmoja akasome kwa makini.
Everyone should go and read the rules and regulations, the laws of regional administrations number 19, which is known as the Regional Administration Act of 1997, so as to build an understanding of your important duties in the administrative district office. Second, go and become a part of making the relationship between you, the district commissioner's office, and of the regional commissioner and other government officials. Don't forget that you have the duty to supervise the progress of political parties and development stakeholders in the district, without forgetting the private sector. Third, recognize that the success of any organization comes from the presence of good teamwork amongst you all. I expect all of you to speak the same language and have a district filled with peace.
The Prime Minister insists in order the administrative secretaries to be able to carry out their responsibilities properly, they need to strategize how their district will properly execute the national agenda.
Tuna agenda ya kupambana na mmomonyoko wa maadili.
We have national agendas. For instance, today we have the agenda of fighting against moral decay. Go and be in charge of that agenda. Other agendas include the issue of environment, the preservation of water sources, such as lakes and ponds. These are national agendas that you should be in charge of. Fighting against drug abuse, HIV/AIDS, these are national agendas.
On the other hand, the Minister of State in the President's Office, Public Service Management and Good Governance, George Simbachawene, asserts that the aim of the train is to improve professionalism and good governance.
Mafunzo haya ni fursa ya kipekee.
These trainings are an opportunity that have been invested by the government to give you professional skills in order to strengthen your performance and good leadership in administrative areas.
Minister of State in the President's Office, Regional Administration and Local Government, Angela Kairuki, urges leaders to execute their duties properly.
Tunao wajibu sisi kama makatibu tawala kuendelea kuwa kiungo na
We have the duty as administrative secretaries to continue to build good relationships with other leaders in the district so that we can work as a team. Lastly, Honorable Prime Minister, I would like to put an emphasis on some of the important requests that have been ordered by our senior leaders, the President and her Vice, the Prime Minister, as well as other leaders. It is a must that you should ensure the implementation of those requests, set a proper plan, and to ensure that they are well implemented as a district, but also by cooperating with other councils.
The 3-day training has been organized by the Office of the President, Public Service Management and Good Governance in collaboration with the Uongozi Institute, and has involved the administrative secretaries of 135 districts of mainland Tanzania.
In other news, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Energy, Engineer Felchesmi Mramba, says the government targets to increase the access to electricity services through various sources, insisting that 60% of the electricity generated in the country is sourced from natural gas. He made the remarks while visiting Tanzania Electric Supply Company Limited, TANESCO, at the Dar es Salaam International Trade Fair in Dar es Salaam. Mramba affirms that in years to come, renewable energy will play a major role in the country's energy sector, and he reveals that TANESCO has already signed contracts for the production of solar energy generated from the renewable energy.
Ambapo TANESCO walisign na wakandarasi.
TANESCO signed with the contractors, and that is just the beginning of many other projects of the same type to generate electricity using solar energy. TANESCO is starting with 50 megawatts, but we are in the process of reaching 150 megawatts. We have plans to generate wind and solar energy in other parts of the country. A study conducted in the past has shown that our country has a great potential to produce solar electricity in many areas, as well as wind electricity. Electricity from renewable energy can be found in large quantities in our country, and the procedures have started with constructors in Kishapu.
The Permanent Secretary elaborates that TANESCO will start with a generation of 50 megawatts and later they will be able to generate 150 megawatts of electricity from renewable energy in Kishapu district. Let's have a look at other stories. Members of the United States Parliament are satisfied with the implementation of the nutrition project for children under the age of 5 in Tungamalenga village located in the Iringa district. The 11 members of Congress from USA witnessed children being fed nutritious food, weighed and given nutrition education on the Nutritional Day in the village. Irene Mwakalinga from Iringa has more.
Tungamalenga residents are delighted to meet various members of the United States Parliament. With the smiles on their faces, the American congressmen were happy to see nutritious food being prepared for the children.
Greetings from America.
Thank you.
I want to thank you for welcoming us so graciously and warmly into this beautiful country, and to come here and see these beautiful young faces of our young girls and the young boys.
The Iringa Regional Commissioner Halima Dendego thanked the American members of Parliament for visiting the village.
Mpango wa kitaifa wa pili tunaotekeleza sasa kuanzia mwaka 22 mpaka 26.
The second national plan that we're initiating is from 2022 to 2026. And for this, we are very grateful to the President, Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, who has shown tenacity and has dedicated herself as the #1 citizen to ensure that we fight against malnutrition, the deaths of mothers and children, HIV, and ensure that all Tanzanians are safe and are fighting against poverty.
Congressman commends the local citizens for the efforts made to combat malnutrition in the area.
And all of the mothers and the children and the fathers that are here to be helped, that are here to learn about how to take care of our children. We know that if we take care of our children from even before they're born into their first few years of childhood, it will make all the difference. It will make all the difference in their lives with medicine, with food.
Nations in order to build a strong, healthy future. And we're so pleased with everything we've seen here today so far.
The Union Nations and its organizations affirms to continue to cooperate with the Tanzanian government in the health sector. Irene Mwakalinga, TBC, Iringa.
Thank you, Irene, for that report. Now from Iringa, let's come back to Dar, where the Minister of Investment, Industry and Trade in Zanzibar, Shabani Omari Shabani, calls on stakeholders in the fishing sector in Zanzibar to enter into joint ventures with their Chinese counterparts and apply modern technologies that provide solutions to the blue economy and tourism sector. He made the call in Dar es Salaam when he was visiting the China Exhibition Hall at the Dar es Salaam International Trade Fair. Rehema Sababili has more.
The China Day in Sabasaba that aims to showcase Chinese culture and various business opportunities from China. Speaking at the exhibition, Minister Shaban stated that China's exhibition pavilion has dominated technologies that are a solution in the development of the blue economy.
We believe that the FOCAC will contribute to the further strengthening of our bilateral ties, promoting trade and investment between our two regions. As we look to the future, there are ample opportunities for enhanced collaborations between China and Tanzania. We encourage more Chinese investors to explore the opportunities, to explore the potentials of our vibrant sectors, such as agriculture, fisheries, manufacturing sector, and renewable energy. We also welcome Chinese tourists to experience the cultural richness and the beauty of our islands, Zanzibar.
On his part, the Chinese ambassador to Tanzania stated that China will continue to be a main partner of Tanzanian businesses, where he has urged the Chinese who do business in Sabasaba to take advantage of opportunities arise from Tanzania.
And you know, China, Tanzania enjoy a profound friendship that can be reflected in all of the areas, specifically on economic and trade cooperation. Actually, we have a lot to exchange, such as the just concluded Expo held in China, that is the third China-African Trade Economic Cooperation, and Honorable Minister participated and together with His Excellency President Muini, and that is a kind of reflection. And China Day is the concrete embodiment for this kind of cooperation. And you can see it's very, crowded. That means attracted more people to find the cooperation opportunities.
More than 100 companies from China are participating in the exhibition. Reporting from Sabasaba, Rehema Sebabili, TBC News.
Thank you, Rehema Sebabili, for that report. The Director General of Tanzania Airports Authority, TAA, Musa Mbura, says the authority plans to build a 4-star hotel and a business center at the Julius Nyerere International Airport to stimulate more economic activities at the airport. He made the revelation in Dar es Salaam, insisting that the authority has already carried out a feasibility study of the project, which will be implemented through a public-private partnership, PPP.
We are looking for an investor who can come under the PPP model to come, and we agree on the number of years where he can recoup, or the investor will get back what he invested there. He can operate, and then later on, after the number of years, the property can transfer to TAA. So we are looking at the PPP, but under BOT model. So that's opportunity we have right now for airports, and especially for Julius Nyerere International Airport. The same model we are going to use for Arusha Airport.
On the other hand, the Director General adds that the aviation sector starts to improve after COVID-19, where the number of visitors entering into the country through Julius Nyerere International Airport has doubled.
Record number of aircraft at Arusha Airport per day, 100 aircraft landing and leaving Arusha Airport. So we have number of people, and with the Royal Tour initiative from the Madam President, Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, we have been on recovery for almost 65% of passengers as recorded before pre-COVID. So now the number of passengers have grown. The number of demand is very high. We record every day a lot of passengers coming to our airports, which makes us move so fast and quick to make sure we have these opportunities for investments, but we expand our operations, not only to serve passengers who are coming and leaving, but also to give them an opportunity to invest in our airports.
In support of the government's efforts to make Tanzania a middle-class economy, the United Nations Development Program, UNDP, in collaboration with the government, is preparing a national action plan on business and human rights to develop a better environment for businesses and investors in the country. Speaking on the sidelines of a meeting that brought together various development stakeholders, the chairman of the Commission for Human Rights and Good Governance in Tanzania, retired Judge Matthew Mwaimu, insists that there is no development without good guiding principles on business and human rights.
The aim is to ensure that everything goes in harmony, to ensure that the investors are abiding to the United Nations guiding principles on business and human rights, which in those guidelines they actually direct or insist that all investors or all business communities should work in the environment that ensures that human rights are observed.
Amon Manyama from UNDP says more understanding is needed in the community about human rights issues to eliminate the gaps that may arise in the workplace.
Human rights is about development, and development is about human rights. And that's why we usually say, if people are poor, poverty violates human rights. Really, poverty violates development. So businesses contribute to development. That's how to understand it. So when we say business have to contribute to human rights, we mean really business have to contribute to development which is pro-people, pro-human rights.
On her part, the director of the Natural Wealth Observatory Unit, Ministry of Constitution and Law, Neema Mwanga, urges all development stakeholders in the country to participate in the process of making a national action plan on business and human rights for the benefit of the nation.
Our aim is to make sure that all stakeholders are involved in these national action plans and to make sure that everyone has his own idea and the logic taken to this human rights action plan.
Now, before we wind up our local news tonight, let us take a look at today's exchange rates according to the Bank of Tanzania, BOT. Don't miss TBC News every weekday to know all the latest in exchange rates. Time now for all the latest in international news. Now let's have a look at international news compiled by Ramadan Mpenda and read to you by Teddy Mparanyanga.
Senegal's President Macky Sall has declared that he will not run for a third term in next year's election, ending years of uncertainty over his political future that helped fuel deadly opposition protests last month. In a speech to the nation in Dakar, President Macky Sall has said, even though the constitution grants him the right to contest, he will not run as a candidate in the upcoming election on the 25th of February 2024. Sally, at the age of 61, was first elected in 2012 for a 7-year term after prevailing against the then-president Abdoulaye Wade, and he was re-elected in 2019 for a 5-year term, following a constitutional revision that set a 2-term presidential limit. Rumors that President Macky Sall will try to extend his stay in power have led to bouts of unrest since 2021, in which dozens have been killed, shaking Senegal's reputation for calm in a restless region. Kenyans using public service vehicles, popularly known as matatu, will from tomorrow Wednesday, July 5th, start new fares in response to the high cost of fuel. According to the Matatu Owners Association Chairman Michael Kariuki, fare prices will shoot by 30% across various routes, including those operating within town areas and long distances.
However, it is essential to strike a balance between maintaining a reliable and efficient transport system and addressing the economic realities faced by the matatu owners. We recognize that our passengers are already grappling with a financial burden, and we assure commuters that we are undertaking this fare adjustment as a last resort.
The increase has seen super petrol selling at 195.53 Kenyan shillings and diesel and kerosene selling at 179.67 Kenyan shillings and 173.44 Kenyan shillings respectively. This was included in the Contentious Finance Act of 2023, which has been assented into law by the Kenyan President William Ruto. Thousands of Palestinians have left Jenin refugee camp as Israel continues its major military operation in the occupied West Bank. Israel launched a large-scale military operation against Palestinian militants in the camp since Monday morning, and the Palestinian officials say 10 Palestinians have been killed and 100 others wounded. The Israeli Defense Forces has said they have arrested 120 suspects and have 10 more targets in the center of the Jenin refugee camp. And The Taliban government in Afghanistan have ordered hair and beauty salons in Afghanistan cities to shut at the end of July 2023. A vice spokesman for Good Quality Ministry in Afghanistan told the media that the businesses had 1 month to comply starting from the 2nd of July. Shutting beauty salons in Afghanistan was part of a wide range of measures imposed by the Taliban, where when they were last in power between 1996 and 2001. The Taliban have also decreed that women should be dressed in a way that only reveal their eyes and must be accompanied by a male relative if they are traveling for more than 72 kilometers.
That was international news. Sports news up next. And in sports news, Simba Sports Club communication manager Ahmed Ali calls on Simba fans to be calm as the club signs big names as players ready for the Tanzania Premier League and other continental championships next season. Speaking to TBC News in Dar es Salaam, Ahmed Ali adds that the club has signed players who can challenge Tanzania Premier League title, Azam FA Cup and Africans Champions League tournament.
They started the preparations for the new season. Now we are ready for a pre-season in Turkey. We'll be depart on next week to Turkey, and we'll be there with all our players. The new players, as long as the players existed last season. We'll be there for 3 weeks, and we will play 3 games, friendly games. After that, we'll be back in Dar es Salaam.
Simba Sports Club new squad will camp in Turkey ready for the next competitions and continental showpiece next season. In other news, the General Secretary of Cycling Association of Tanzania, Chabata, Musa Juma, says regional association leaders should send names of the qualified participants of the cycling national competition early so as to facilitate logistics.
Tupate timu yetu ya taifa.
We want to use this tournament to select the cycling national team because this competition will have elites, men and women competing against each other. Also, we will select youth cycling national team under 20, under 21. The selected cycling national team will participate in different international tournaments in the future.
Taifa itakayokuwa inatokea hapo mbeleni.
The cycling national competition will take place on July 29th and 30th in Arusha, whereby 150 participants are expected to take part in the race. That was sports news. And now before we conclude the news bulletin, let us take a look at the weather forecast for the next 24 hours.
Hello viewers, welcome to the next 24 hours weather forecast from Tanzania Meteorological Authority. My name is Margaret Masawe. Wind is expected to flow the speed of 30 kilometers per hour over the entire coast and the Lake Victoria, from south over the northern coast and southeast from the southern coast. The TMA is issuing an advisory of large waves which exceed 2 meters. Therefore, precautive measures have to be taken. Cold condition is still experienced in many areas of the country, and the lowest minimum temperature is expected to be 4 degrees Celsius over Mbeya region. The rest are as shown on this map. Tomorrow we expect a partly cloudy condition and light showers over Kilimanjaro, Arusha and the entire coast. The rest parts of the country are expected to feature partly cloudy condition and the longer sun periods. Now let us see the next 4 days weather forecast for some regions of the country. From Tanzania Meteorological Authority, we thank you for watching us.
And on that note, we are ending our news bulletin for tonight. Don't miss our next bulletin in Swahili at 11 p.m. I am Faida Ngaga. Have a lovely night.
TBC1, ukweli na uhakika.
Hizi ni shamra za maonyesho ya 47 ya kimataifa Dar es Salaam maarufu kama 77. Zaidi ya mataifa 30 yapo ndani ya viwanja hivi vya 77 Temeke jijini Dar es Salaam. Usisubiri kusimuliwa. Fika hapa katika viwanja vya 77 Temeke jijini Dar es Salaam uweze kushuhudia msimu huu. Nakumbuka kwa kauli mbiu isemayo Tanzania ni sehemu sahihi kwa biashara na uwekezaji. Dalini Media, popote tunakufikia. Tanzania, maonesho ya 47 ya kimataifa ya Dar es Salaam maarufu kama 77 yanaendelea kunoga, na huyu ni championi wa safari ya maboresho ya mahakama ya Tanzania, Profesa Elisante Ole Gabriel. Yeye baada ya kutembelea kwanza ndani ya jengo la mahakama